clerk please call the roll?
Good morning. Calling the roll for the Monday, October 18th Board of Control meeting. It is 11 a.m. Nan Baker.
Here.
Dale Miller.
Here.
Jim Boyle serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones.
Present.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Ermin Budish.
Here.
Catherine Takachik.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from October 12th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Like to
And if
ma-
I can call the roll for Lee Tucker. Here. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Is there any public comment? No.
No public comment.
No public comment. All right, let's move on to the first item, please.
Okay, the first item, BC 2021-579, at the request of the department, will be read into the record with a revised dollar amount. Department of Public Works submitting an amendment to a contract with Trimore Corporation for the reconstruction of Apron H and Taxiway B at the Cuyahoga County Airport for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $14,586.28.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this is an amendment to our current construction project going on at the airport. It is funded 100% by the FAA. Normally, it's 95.5 with us paying 5, but actually after the COVID, they've given us additional grant money. So this project got funded at 100%. The main reasons for this were some additional subbase. When they pulled up pieces of the taxiway, it needed some additional material to be put down under, and there was also a change in pipe size from 18 inches to 24 inches from what the plan once they got out in the field. So I apologize for the error in the amount. It was found this morning when we were double checking a spreadsheet that there was a slight error in calculation, and so we have sent the new change order over to the contractor to get signed, and we will upload all the information into Novus, or into Infor, sorry.
Thank you, Nicole. I have a question. When is that going to be done? Do you know? Ballpark? I drove past it last Thursday.
Read the answer I
I know.
here.
I'm just asking you, high level.
Just kidding. Spring 2022 is anticipation. The main thing is just they have to do temporary striping this fall because they can't lay down the striping by time it'll be too late in the season. So permanent striping will happen next year. They'll put temporary striping down this fall.
I was out there Thursday, a lot going on out there, so.
Yeah, no, they're doing a nice job.
Interesting. Okay, good. Are there questions from the board?
What are you doing on the east side? Are we allowed to ask that?
Did they let him over there?
We'll talk after.
I've been doing community meetings, sir. I've had over 600 people come to my get-togethers. Very nice. So, yes. Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-580, Department of Public Works, recommending awards on requisition 5997 and enter into contracts with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $300,000 for general right-of-way services for various road and bridge projects for the period November 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2024 with MS Consultants Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $150,000 and with OR Associates LLC in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
Nicole English with Public Works again. This is similar to our general services contracts that you're used to seeing for road and bridge. This is just different in the fact that it's right-of-way services, so these are mainly used on our road and bridge projects where we need to acquire right-of-way for the project. So it could be appraisals, it could be actual acquisition, anything that's related to acquiring right-of-way. They are funded by the Road and Bridge Fund. There was 11 sent out, only 2 submitted. We are selecting both of the firms. They scored very well, despite them being the only 2 that submitted, and they both are meeting the diversity goals, and I believe OR Colon is an SBE themselves also.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Questions from the board on this item? Mr. Boyle?
Why'd you split it up? Why don't you just do one contract for 300?
So we do 2 always with the intent, because a lot of times you need an appraisal and a review appraisal, and the same firm cannot do both.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So it's good for us to have a couple different options so that we can be able to do those 2 functions.
Okay, any additional questions from the board?
I have
Yes,
one.
Councilwoman Baker?
Curious on contracting. So the 8% increase due to labor, was that because of the increased regulations that we are putting in place for meeting the,
Well, I think that's the next one, is it not?
Yeah, that's the next item.
Yep.
This is just a task order base, so we're just putting in funds for this one, and then we'll task the items. I think that 8% is the
Okay.
next item.
oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Oh, that's okay, great. Seeing no further questions on this item, I make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-581, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on requisition 6589 and enter into a contract with RGT Services LLC, doing business as the Fowler Company, in the amount not to exceed $200,000 for lighting of Veterans Memorial Bridge Number 84 for the period October 18th, 2021 through October 17th, 2023.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is the approval of a contract with Fowler, 2-year contract, not to exceed dollar amount. It's for the lighting maintenance of the Veterans Memorial Bridge that we take care of. This was a formal bid, went to 11 vendors. We had 1 bid submission, and the original estimate was $247,000.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there questions on this item?
I'll ask that same
Yes,
question
please.
then. Was the increase because although it sounds like you only had one? You said it
So
out
the
to
8%
11.
increase was over the last contract that we had with this vendor. It was the labor rates went up. So the cost to use the vendors like bucket trucks to reach some of the other lighting, their service trucks, those remain the same rate. But the labor rates for the electricians, the journeymen and foremen, that went up.
And did I hear you say you only had one bid?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
And I'll just follow up.
Please.
Was it the same as last year, or is this a different company?
It's the same company.
Same company?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Are there additional questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-582, Department of Public Works, recommending an award and enter into a contract with Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP in the amount not to exceed $186,566.04 for the replacement of the fire alarm system at Justice Center Tower 2 for the period October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022.
Hi, good morning. This is Matt Reimer with the Department of Public Works. This procurement action is to support a larger capital project at the Justice Center Tower 2 facility, which is the former Cleveland Police Headquarters building. The larger project is $670,000 and is fully appropriated and on the capital plan. This procurement is to buy the materials needed to perform the work to replace the fire alarm system within that building. Our county electricians will be performing the construction work on this project. The current system in the Justice Center and in Tower 2 is a simplex system owned by Johnson Controls. That's why we're proceeding with a cooperative agreement, and Johnson Controls being the provider. That's to get our best pricing for a system that we need to integrate within the current Justice Center systems. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Matt. Are there questions on this item from the board?
I have one.
Councilwoman Baker, please.
So the Justice Center, we're putting more money into it then, right? And this is for a 1-year contract?
So this is just for the material, and yes, we will get the material within that
Period of
duration
time.
period. Our construction period will likely be through the end of 2022, and that's our county electricians performing the construction.
Okay,
This is just the duration of the contract to provide the fire protection equipment that will be installed by our electricians.
and what did you say was wrong with the fire equipment that's
It is
there?
old and out of compliance. So these are, as I mentioned at Public Works Committee on another contract action, we're being very careful at the investments we make, but the ones that I bring forward to you are the ones that we have to proceed with in advance of any disposition of the Justice Center.
When's the last time that we replaced this fire alarm system? Was it done, has it been years and years, or is this something we do every few years?
So we've only owned the building for the last 4 years,
Okay.
but to our knowledge, this is the original fire alarm system, to the best of our knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
1975.
I know it's all about safety.
Additional questions?
Just a comment.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dale. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just a comment, and following up on Councilwoman Baker's comments, as a member of the Public Works Committee, you were there, Councilwoman Baker, I mean, and we just spent $2.5 million in the jail 2 elevators. And, you know, while the ongoing conversations about the future of this building, these buildings, as a complex actually, is several in there, I think it's appropriate to commend the administration and the Public Works Department for really, you need elevators, you need fire, I mean, if we're gonna be in there, we have to do it while the ongoing conversations are going on. I think that that's something that should be commended, because it takes a lot of work to balance and juggle all those competing interests, so, thank you.
Thanks, James.
Councilman Miller, please.
So, who are we collaborating with in the cooperative agreement?
So the cooperative agreement is the Sourcewell contract procurement. They're an entity out of Minnesota that does public contracting, to which cooperative contract for public entities, to which Cuyahoga County is a member. We've used this contract before. I've presented to you before using this cooperative agreement. And typically where we use this kind of agreement is where we have a specific need, in this case, simplex fire alarm systems, which is what is in the Justice Center and in this building, that is owned by, Simplex is owned by Johnson Controls. And where we can get our best competitive pricing by a contract that has already been let and has, in this case, a 10% discount on all the materials that we need. So in lieu of presenting just an open quote for sole source consideration, we're able to leverage an existing cooperative agreement that does provide us the best pricing for the type and brand materials that we need in this case.
Okay, thank you.
One additional question.
Please, go ahead,
Is
Councilman
it
Baker.
customary that a replacement of the fire alarm system would be every 4 years? It doesn't seem very long, that fire alarm system, since we did it the first time, would need to be completely replaced. Did you say that it was 4 years ago that we did
No,
it?
no, we
Oh.
purchased the building 4 years ago. We have never done fire
We've
alarm
never
work in
done it.
this building,
Okay.
correct?
Thanks for the clarification.
Yes, Councilwoman.
If
Yes,
I may,
I'm
what's
finished.
the current, so is the city of Cleveland, do they still have any of their police folks in there?
They do. So
Okay.
they have approximately,
We can talk offline.
Yes.
I know it's not related
I
to
know
this contract.
there's current legislation coming through on the status of their lease, and maybe I'll refrain to those numbers because those will be
That's
in the
fine, we'll
public
talk
here. But
offline. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't relate to
Yeah.
this specific
it's
contract.
roughly 50-50, James,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
as far as occupancy. Yeah.
Okay, any final questions or comments in this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-583, Department of Development, recommending an award and enter into a contract with Travis Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $6,000 for a sole source purchase of One Roof Housing Management Software Maintenance Services for the period October 18th, 2021 through October 17th, 2024.
Good morning, Sarah Parks Jackson with the Department of Development. This software, which is called One Roof, is the software that Housing and Community Development uses to maintain the loans that we have issued over the years. The software is compliant with all of the HUD regulations and maintains our demographic and statistical information that's necessary for HUD reporting.
Okay, Sarah, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-584, Department of Human Resources, recommending an award on requisition 6055 and enter into a contract with P&A Administrative Services Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $180,000 for flexible spending account administration services for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024.
Stephen Witt with Human Resources. This contract with P&A Administration Services is a result of a RFP for our flexible spending account administration services. We had 12 submissions. P&A service administrative services, scored highest and best out of those 12 submissions and is being recommended for the award. There is a minor price savings. Price is based on the price per participant per month. in which it went from about $2.50 to about $2.25 per employee participating. The flexible spending accounts are the accounts that draw your pre-tax earnings and allow you to use those for medical, dependent care, and commuter benefits.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Are there questions from the board on this item? Councilman Miller.
So is this a new vendor or the same vendor that we've had?
This P&A Administrative Services is a new vendor. Our previous vendor for the flexible spending was Surency.
And did the previous vendor also apply?
Yes, they did.
And so with 12 applicants, you had a desirable level of competition. What were the criteria that we used to choose among the competing vendors?
So basically, we sent out a scope of work saying, what is it? Oh, Sheba Marshall, Human Resources Department. The scope of work, what is it that they could provide? How could they provide it? The website information, interaction for our employees, and the price. So while all of them submitted a proposal that we found very well done, P&A, or is it P&G?
P&A.
P&A, okay. I've got a lot of RFPs right now. P&A provided the best one with the best price for what we were asking for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, additional questions? Mr. Boyle?
Without divulging some of my lack of technological skills, I assume that there are other people similar to me who have a balance in their,
Yes.
okay, what happens to that now that we're moving to a new vendor?
So what will happen is we have what is called a run-out period, meaning that Surency will have to honor those requests.
Got it.
Oh, okay, is that good?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
me, yeah, I mean, but we're gonna, because I'm sure there are others that have a balance in there
Yeah.
that they haven't spent, and it,
Well, open enrollment is coming
Right.
next week, the 25th of October for anybody. And we're gonna have information in that. I'll make sure that we communicate that not only can they use their 2021 funds out, but if they had anything left over from 2020, those funds are also still available well beyond that period. Just because of all the things that happened during COVID, we wanted to make sure employees could use as much of that money that they put aside and get it all spent out. But there is a run-out period for next year, and employees will have the opportunity
yeah, I'm
to
sure
spend it down.
there were others whose, parking, for example, with
Yes.
COVID, they didn't, we weren't here, and yet it was still coming out, and we have to spend it back up.
Well, not only that, your medical services, people didn't go anymore to the
Right.
hospitals. And if you plan for surgeries or doctor's appointments or dental visits, all of that got put on hold. So if you put it away $2,600, which was the maximum amount, it might be all still sitting there. We want to make sure employees have an opportunity to spend that down. They won't lose it.
Yeah, I would, again, and I certainly wouldn't tell the HR folks how to do their business, but as long as there's some sort of, say, publicity, just to make sure that folks know that, because people will
Yes.
ask that question.
Yeah.
All right.
What I asked for was a targeted list of employees who had money left over from 20 and 21. You'll be getting a separate email saying, hey, this is what you have. Be sure to spend it down, and this is where you can find out what's eligible to use it on.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Baker, please.
I was curious, when we change vendors like this for something that's internal, is that a kind of a big deal? I mean, is that something where, when we change horses for something that's communicating to our employees, is that,
It is a big deal because it's personal to employees. Anything that
Right.
relates to healthcare is very personal to employees. So we try and make sure that we communicate it in a whole lot of ways. So you'll see it in our wellness newsletter. You're going to see it as separate for open enrollment communications. And then you'll see it as an email from the benefits announcements, trying to make sure employees know as much as possible. But like I said, one of the things that I take personal is making sure that anybody who has money left over gets a very targeted personal email to themselves saying, hey, pay attention, you've got this dough, here's a deadline. Let's see, here's the things you can spend it on. But yeah, it's a big deal. It makes a difference for employees.
on the supplier end, is the transition very smooth as far as replacing one to the other? Is there that transition of one company to another coming right in and making, those changes, or just being seamless? Is that?
So it's seamless to the employee. We have to work with IT to make sure we get enrollment files, eligibility files, demographic files. Our IT team is phenomenal. IT team is phenomenal in doing that. They've already been working with us to make sure that they're in place. Once we
Okay.
get the implementation and all of this is approved, we can shoot it right over.
Okay.
The only big deal is making sure employees know to toss out the old cards after the deadline, but keep the new ones in the meantime.
Okay.
Because there will be new cards.
But the internal process of going from one company to another behind the scenes,
Yeah.
you feel very confident.
Oh, yeah, we have an IT team that we're extremely proud of.
Okay.
So they
All
help us
right.
very well with that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Any additional comments on this? Jim, is that your credit card?
That's right. That's right.
I have 5 kids. If you want to share it, I'll help you. So anyways, okay.
Oh, well, you know how to find me, so if you have questions.
Okay. Barring any further comment, I will make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-585, Department of Human Resources, recommending an award on requisition 6058 and enter into a contract with Sedgwick Claims Management Services Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $353,500 for workers' compensation third-party administrator services for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
Stephen Witt with Human Resources again. This is a contract with Sedgwick Claims Management Services. This was also the result of an RFP process in which we had 5 submissions to handle our workers' compensation third-party administration services. The workers' comp third-party administrator assists us with our workers' comp claims, which can get upwards of $5 to $6 million a year. What they do is they help manage those claims as we only have a small workers' comp staff. They keep us in line with Ohio rules and regulations regarding the workers' comp. They help us deal with those claims, handle the claims, any appeals, that kind of thing. Sedgwick Claims Management was scored the highest and best out of the vendors. Sedgwick is a new vendor for these services. Our previous vendor was Matrix Claims Management.
Thank you, Stephen. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item,
Thank you.
please.
Next item, BC 2021-586, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with Timothy M. Wahop for Enterprise Resource Planning System Support Services for the period March 22nd, 2021 through September 21st, 2021, to extend the time period to March 21st, 2022. No additional funds required.
Janelle Green, Department of IT. This is a request to amend the contract with Tim Wahop to extend it for an additional 6-month period. As was written in the original contract, we would request, as needed, 6-month increments to amend his contract, and this is the second 6 months. And again, he is working, and his invoices have been under what we've estimated, so that is why no additional funds are required.
Thank you, Janelle. Questions from the board on this item?
Yes, I didn't really hear the explanation of why no additional funds are needed. Could you go over that again?
So Tim has been working diligently with our team, but his invoices are less than what we anticipated and what we estimated at the time when we originally brought this forward. So we are bringing this again and would not need additional funds moving forward.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, Councilwoman Baker.
So now that we have a history and based on what he's charged us and the hours he's putting in, will we have enough in the next 6 months? And where's one, if this is the second, is there a third that we can anticipate?
For right now, we're anticipating this may be his final amendment. And so from his history, from what we've seen, the rest of this contract amount that we have with him, it should be sufficient to cover unless there is a significant ramp up to what he is doing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Boyle.
You know, how much did we put in to his the first 6 months? What was the appropriation?
Let's see if I have it here. I have all the notes. I believe it was, it's either 90,000 or 120,000. I'm not 100%, but I can get that to you after this.
Yeah, that's fine. And you're confident that that over the next, we're adding 6 months, right?
Correct.
That we're not gonna, I mean, and I'm following up on what Councilwoman Baker asked. I mean, are you confident that you're not gonna hit that number?
He is working on what is the stabilization portion. So unless he has significant ramp up into what he's doing, we anticipate the fund should be sufficient for this.
It's just taking longer to do the things that you thought he was gonna be able, got it.
Correct. And
Okay.
so Tim is also, was helpful because he was our project lead when he worked for N4 directly, and he branched out on his own, and is an independent contractor.
Oh.
So, he has a significant amount of expertise that we are leaning on to help our ERP team.
How much money remains in the contract at this time?
I did not bring that, but in part of that second email, I'll also, let you know how much is left from there as
Okay.
well.
Fine.
Any final questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-587, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with Surety Systems Incorporated for staff augmentation services for the stabilization of the Enterprise Resource Planning System for the period May 3rd, 2021 through November 2nd, 2021, to extend the time period to May 2nd, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $78,382.
Janelle Green, Department of IT. This is an amendment with surety that's as on the $78,382 that I believe was mentioned in one of the ERP reports to allow us to maintain the work of one of our consultants that has been working, a couple of consultants that have been working on the ERP implementation project.
Okay, are there questions on this item from the board?
So, since this is described as being for stabilization, is this considered an operational expense or an installation expense?
So this would be a correction because this part is actually for the implementation. This is not stabilization. So the work that these consultants are doing is, again, strictly for the implementation. So that should be a correction on what's noted here. And that's why this is coming out of the ERP implementation budget, because that's what part they're working on. So we make sure that we delineate what's stabilization and what's implementation for tracking
And
purposes.
is this item something that's already been budgeted, or does this $78,000 require additional funds?
For this portion will not require additional funds. The
It will or
78 will
will
not for
will
this
not?
portion. So the 78,382 was originally allocated for training support in the implementation budget. So it's repurposing those funds and to apply them for this particular contract.
Okay.
Any final questions on this item?
Just for clarification on that.
Please.
So it says for additional funds, but you're saying it's
Well, it's
not-
additional funds on the
But-
contract, but it's not an appropriations request for this particular
You're just
item.
moving money around.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyle?
But
please.
did we finish the training that it was originally allocated for?
So with the usage of these consultants, they're gonna be providing some assistance as far as training and getting people on board and getting people up to speed on certain modules within the system.
Okay, so that,
This is a knowledge transfer.
okay, I get that, but that sounds like a no. What it tells me is we allocated money for training. We're now moving it from training to implementation
Mhm.
within this contract, but there's still training to do.
I'm
that-
sure there is. I don't know the
Okay.
specifics of that. I'm not directly involved in that project, so I would have to reserve the response on that fully to Connie or Andy Johnson.
Can you ask them to, I mean, do they anticipate coming back asking for more money for training for these purposes? I mean, it just seems like if we're moving money from one account to another, and then we're ultimately gonna have to use training, pay for training down the line, you know, there's gotta be a better way to do this bookkeeping wise.
Understood. I will send on that request and have them get back to you on that.
And just so that I'm clear, we're extending both the time and the cost.
That is correct. So really all three of these contracts had 6-month increments. And so we are extending all three of those 6-month increments on these contracts.
When did this one, when was this contract in? Wait, 5/3?
This was entered in 5/3, so, this expiration time is November 2nd, but then we're extending it
Okay, got it.
for another 6
All right.
months.
So it's not even up yet.
Correct.
What modules are being worked on with this money?
I believe with these, it would be WFM and payroll,
Those are the biggies right now.
correct?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve this as amended with the verbiage, I believe.
No.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-588, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with 360 Solutions Incorporated for Enterprise Resource Planning System Support Services for the period February 16th, 2021 through August 14th, 2021, to extend the time period to February 15th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $25,000.
Janelle Green, Department of IT. This is an amendment to extend the contract with 360 Solutions. 360 Solutions is actually one individual that is providing support on what is termed the stabilization end of the ERP. And this would extend his contract through February 15th of '22 and add $25,000 on to the contract. And his original amount of this contract was $120,000.
Thank you, Janelle. Questions on this item?
Yes, since this is stabilization, is this considered an operational expense rather than installation?
That is correct.
And,
Sure, I'll do that.
and is this money that has been budgeted, or does it require additional funds?
We are estimating that $25,000 would come in play for '22. So currently for '21, we're not anticipating that.
So this we'll have to appropriate money for this in next year's budget?
Correct.
Okay.
Additional questions? Councilwoman
quick
Baker?
one.
Yes.
The stabilization effort, as you said earlier, is ending, but we are extending this to February of 2022.
Right.
Is
Well,
there-
he is providing critical support in the fiscal area. So knowing that what we're doing right now, there's going to be end-of-year support that's going to come up, and then also ramping up for opening the new year. So this is going to be a critical time for support that he can provide the team. So that is why we wanted to extend that. And with the original contract, we did state that there were 6-month increments, so that's why we came for the 6 months. If we don't need the 6 months, that would be great and not use them. But we, in the original contract, stated we would like the opportunity to renew for 2 additional 6-month increments. And so that's why we brought forth this 6-month time frame.
So I guess we can anticipate that next year at this time, the stabilization effort probably won't be needed. This is just,
I think that's what we're moving towards right now, because this is crunch time and we have different resources allocated to doing different things. Again, a concentration, WFM and payroll. So making sure that not only our ERP team has support, but also the fiscal department has support in this area.
okay. I appreciate knowing. Thank you.
Sure.
I'll make a small comment. I mean, the stabilization, we're at a point now where it's going to become just normal routine items to go through. So we've come a long way in that period of time. There'll always be changes and requests, but it won't be as in-depth as it was these last 6 months. That helps.
If I may,
Yeah.
at least the way we've looked at stabilization in the past, it has been going back to modules that we were unstable and had to go back and try and stabilize them. And we called that the stabilization process, probably over the last 6 or 8 months, maybe longer.
True, we had items that were just, we were buckling a little bit, they were behind, we weren't getting the attention we needed, and this focused strictly on those items. And we're pretty much out, we're in good shape now, but there's always going to be maybe enhancements or things that we'd like to do a little bit better in the future.
Yeah.
But as we learn more and more, I mean, remember the old system was 35 years, and, we're basically
Right.
2 years into this, so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's good to have 25,000 to give you a safety net
Mhm.
to make sure that those questions seems reasonable.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyle?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
On these contracts, I mean, we put them on a short 6-month original timeframe. I mean, it seems like if you know they're coming back, I mean, I don't think the group is going to be, I mean, we recognize that there's a lot of work and there's been a lot of progress. I mean, the sooner you can get them back, I mean, especially if you know you're gonna keep on with these vendors, to bring them back here for approval, I think would be helpful.
Noted.
One last comment too, and I committed to IT that, you know, now that we are somewhat, you know, better off, that we can start spending some money on our own staff, getting them fully trained even further. I mean, they've come a long way in a short period of time, but I'd like to see some resources going there as well, so. Okay, seeing no further questions, I'm gonna make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next item, BC 2021-589, Prosecutor's Office, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $333,550 for a state contract purchase of replacement equipment, including 135 HP ZBook Firefly laptops, 150 HP USB-C notebook docks, 300 HP LCD monitors, 80 HP Z2 G5 workstations and related accessories, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, my name is Jim Ginley. I'm the Director of Fiscal Operations for the Prosecutor's Office. And this is a purchase that we need to replace a lot of older equipment, and we have the resources to do it within the confines of our allocation from this year. It does not require additional appropriation.
Thank you, Jim. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second, please? Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-590, Sheriff's Department, submitting an amendment to a contract with Smith's Detection Incorporated for on-site maintenance services on security X-ray machines located in various county buildings for the period July 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2021, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2026, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $377,279.90.
Laura Sims with the Sheriff's Department. This is a contract that we need to service the X-ray machines that are in the building. Smith's Detection has proprietary software on their systems, so we have to use Smith's Detection to do the service on that, or it will invalidate the warranty on the system.
Thank you, Laura. Questions from the board on this item?
Are these for the machines all over the county?
Correct.
Got it.
Countywide.
I asked that same question earlier this week, last week. Additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Moving on to exemptions, please.
Moving on to item BC 2021-591, Department of Development, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Fund for Our Economic Future of Northeast Ohio Fiscal Agent in the amount not to exceed $1,450,000 to support workforce innovation and coordination in healthcare, manufacturing, information technology, and hospitality sectors in connection with the Workforce Connect Development Program for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024.
Good morning, Paul Herdig with the Department of Development. The Department of Development is bringing forward, and it will go to County Council for full discussion, a 3-year renewal and increase of funding support for the sector partnerships we've been supporting. These have been tremendously successful. Manufacturing, healthcare, and IT are all undertaking recruitment and placement programs. And just as a very short preview, there's going to be a full hearing before the ED committee. We are raising our contribution by 10% for the base contribution, and we're also proposing to add $350,000 for a fourth sector, which is hospitality. I think we're all aware from the media how desperately hospitality employers are looking for staff right now. So we look forward, with this board's approval, to bring it to council, where there will be a full discussion before the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Paul. Questions from the board on this item?
Am I correct that we've invested $1 million so far total for the 3 sectors?
That's correct, $1 million so far.
Okay.
Additional questions? Seeing no further questions, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to consent agenda.
Moving on to the consent items, items BC 2021-592 through 593. And if I may, we'd like to make an additional correction to the item 592. We will be replacing Urban Search and Rescue Team member Greg Miller from Grafton Fire with Dylan Kraus, Shaker Heights Fire.
Okay, board members, let me know if you have any questions. Really, it's just a couple items. Do we need more time? We good? Okay, I will then therefore make a motion to approve today's consent agenda items, especially as noted with the change. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Moving on to other business.
No other business?
At that point in time, then, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Wait,
Do I-
before we
oh.
do, on other business, item of note one,
Yes.
Public Works on the Franklin Boulevard piece.
Yep.
Mhm.
There's some businesses there, I assume you're taking from familiar with,
Yeah.
the trail is fully done, I mean,
So this is part of the overall Irish Town Bend project. So it's mainly a alignment towards West 25th. Most of from Columbus coming up is staying kind of similar. What happened is they pushed the road years ago, kind of across the slough of the road. So it's actually keeps falling down because it's going across where there's like a break plane. So the idea is to realign it where it used to be, and it's going to tie up across West 25th with Franklin, as Franklin is now, because they're offset.
but I'm spoken to the folks that are there. I mean,
Yes.
Central Park that relates to the trail, the business that's there. And the urban farm is huge.
Correct.
And the road's awful, by the way.
Yeah, so they've been coordinating, so the port is leading the project, and we're just partners with them. So the port and the city of Cleveland are the ones who've been negotiating the right-of-way and all the real estate up there. So I believe what's happening on the farm is they're doing a land swap with them. So we're taking a piece to put the road, and I think they're giving them some back on the other side of the road in the future. So they've been working with, because it's through CMHA, actually, that the farm is going on. Correct. So this has been on the books for a while. You guys approved, well, council approved welfare and convenience. There was some negotiating going on about if there's project overages, who's paying for them. Within the last month or so, Cleveland finally agreed to pay, if it goes over our fee. So we finally got them to sign an agreement, which is why you're seeing it now.
Okay. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Almost missed that. At this time, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.